Hey everybody, it's Eric from epautos.com, your libertarian car guy, and I'm going to do a quick walk around here of this 2016 GMC Canyon. It's mostly the same as last year with one significant exception. GM has put a diesel engine on the roster, and that's pretty cool because the Canyon and the Colorado, which is the Chevy badged version of this truck, is the only midsize truck you can get with a diesel engine. In fact, it's pretty much the only truck you can get, period, with the diesel engine. The only other truck that's not at least a 2500 that offers a diesel is the Dodge Ram. Neither Ford nor Chevy offer a diesel engine currently in their 1500 trucks. So, if you want a diesel engine, this is pretty much it. It's a pretty cool diesel. It's a little diesel. It's only 2.8 liters. But it puts out 369 foot-pounds of torque at 2,000 RPM. And to give you some sense of how much torque that is, it's only about 20 foot-pounds less than the much larger 5.3 liter V8 that is the step-up engine in the much bigger and much heavier Chevy Silverado 1500 pickup. So that's pretty cool. Let me show you some of the detail things. There's that big, huge honkin' diesel exhaust tip. That's pretty neat. I'm going to pop the hood for you here so you can check it out. And while I'm doing that, I'll just continue to monologue and tell you some other things about it. One thing that's pretty cool is you have an exhaust brake, and there's the button for it. Just like in the big rigs, you engage that when you're going down a grade, and it uses compression and exhaust back pressure to keep the truck from overspeeding without having to ride the brakes or gear down. One of the things that I personally really like about this diesel, it being a 4-cylinder diesel, is that the engine compartment is really uncluttered. You can get in there, and down the road, if you have to work on this engine, at least you've got pretty easy access. That's also true of the 4-cylinder gas engine that's standard in this truck, but it's definitely not true of the gas V6 that's available in this truck. Nothing particularly wrong with the gas V6, but it's a big engine for a small engine compartment. Let's see, what else is cool about this engine? Oh yeah, GM certifies it to run on B20 biodiesel, which is cool because most of actually I think all of the passenger car diesels that are still available, of which there aren't many, thanks Uncle, are not able to run on that for emissions reasons. However, GM touts that you can feed this thing biodiesel and it will not affect the warranty and it will not degrade the emissions components of the vehicle. So that's pretty cool. The diesel comes paired with a 6-speed heavy-duty automatic that's different from the automatic used with the other gas engines in the thing, and a 342 axle. The result of all that is class best towing capacity, 7,700 pounds. That easily beats the Toyota Tacoma and the Nissan Frontier. They can tow, I'm just pulling these numbers out of my butt here, I think the max is 6,500 and 6,800 pounds respectively. So it's a considerable difference, and also, of course, those being gas engines, they have to work harder to pull that load. This thing comfortably pulls 7,700 pounds. And the other thing that it does, which none of the gas engine competitors do, is not burn a ton of fuel. As I'm doing this rant and writing the review, EPA has not yet published the official numbers, but I can tell you that after a week of driving this thing, the worst that I averaged was 23-something miles per gallon, and I got close to 26 miles per gallon, and that's average. And to put that into perspective, the highway number of the 4-cylinder gas version of this thing, the highway number is 26 miles per gallon, or no, 25 miles per gallon. So this thing averages better than the 4-cylinder does on the highway, and based on my test drive last year of a Canyon with the V6, it's about 10 miles per gallon better overall than the gas V6. So that's a pretty significant savings. All right, you want to know about the downsides? Here are the downsides. GMC, and I think Chevy, only sells the diesel in the higher trim versions. In the case of the GMC, you have to move up to the SLE or the SLT, neither of which is particularly cheap. The base price is $28,000. For the two-wheel drive version, 28,000 and something, 28,000 for the two-wheel drive version of the SLE. And on top of that, then, depending on whether you go with four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive, you have to buy the diesel. And the price of the diesel ranges from about $3,700 to about $4,000 additional on top of the base price of the respective trucks. So there's that. The other thing is that you have to get a crew cab, which of course this one is. You can't get the diesel in the extended cab. And as a general criticism of these trucks, not just the diesel, they do not offer this truck in a regular cab. And the sucky thing about that is that means that you're limited to either the 5.2 foot short bed or the, in air quotes, 6 foot 2 inch, air quotes, long bed. You can't get a regular cab with an 8 foot long bed, which kind of stinks. And that's true also of the Nissan and the Toyota. It's just the way it is, and I think it reflects the fact that unfortunately most of the people who buy these things seem not to really need them to work. They use them for various other things, like putting a Labrador Retriever in the back or whatever, which I guess is fine. I used to own an older model Nissan Frontier that had the regular cab and the long bed, and it was really handy. And I think it would be nice if Chevy or GMC or somebody would offer a regular cab version of these trucks with the 8 foot bed and with the diesel engine, and make it oriented toward people who work and who need to push snow or haul things and so on. And it'd be nice if they could offer something like that for around $26,000 or $27,000 or so, which should be doable. But on the other hand, this is a really nice truck. Let's have a look at the inside, and I'll tell you some more things as I'm driving down the road. One thing that's kind of curious, by the way, this particular truck that I've got is a loaded SLT. So it's got leather, it's got everything. It also has, look, an old-timey key. It does not have push-button ignition, which is kind of funny given that pretty much everything nowadays comes with a push-button ignition. Let's see, what else? The other change for 2016 that you may have heard about or read about, they have updated the optional, this is the optional infotainment system, so that it now does Apple CarPlay for your phone if you want that. Let's see, of course this is a diesel, so it's got its own diesel specific gauge cluster. It's got a 5,000 RPM tach without a red line, but I think the red line is around 4. It seems to want to shift right around 3,500 or so under full throttle. You probably just heard it when I started it. It starts immediately. It's got ceramic fast light glow plugs. I'd like to try this thing out in the middle of winter just to see how it performs, but out here today with the air temperature probably in the low 50s, it starts immediately, and it's a very, very quiet diesel. In fact, ironically, these diesel engines are just about as quiet as modern gas engines, because the modern gas engines now, pretty much all of them are direct injected, and if you've been near a new car lately, you might have noticed this. You pop the hood and they go tick, 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 tick. Well, that's the high pressure direct injection system, which makes them diesel as if they were diesels. Anyway, that's all I can think of at this particular moment. The rest will be up on the site, epautos.com, probably tomorrow. And thanks for taking the time to view, and we will catch you next time.